Hello, and welcome back to r/ProRevenge. Our first story will tell how our OP got a genuine feeling when he tried to do the right thing. A petty joy that the person he was trying to help was actively working against him, and a free wedding dress. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. All sales final. Your problem is no longer our problem. My wedding budget was slim. My now husband and I paid for it all out of savings and took every opportunity to cut costs. So when it came to the dress, I decided to purchase from a small consignment boutique. They post their inventory online, and I watched it for weeks to find the right dress, my style, my size, and a good price. Finally, the day came, and my dream dress pops up on the site. I drive in, try it on, love it, swipe my credit card, and left the store happy with my purchase. My credit card statement came a week later, and I noticed that the $500 charge wasn't on it. I just assumed that it had missed the cutoff and it'd be on the next bill. A month later, still no charge. So I called Discover, my credit card company, to inquire. They said they never saw a charge from this company come through, nor had there been any charges for that amount in the last 2 months. I checked the receipt. It specifically said Discover ending in with my last 4 digits, so I knew it had to have been this card. Best they could guess was that there was some sort of glitch and the charge never went through. So I called up the boutique, I give my name, and have the following conversation. Me. I bought a dress about 6 weeks ago. Cutting me off, the store. All sales are final. We don't do refunds or exchanges. Me. No, I love the dress. I'm not looking to return it. I just noticed that there's no charge on my credit card statement. The store. That's your problem, not ours. You bought the dress. You figure it out. No, you don't understand. I have the receipt that shows the price of $500, but we don't adjust prices after the purchase. You should have thought about the price before you swiped your card. There's nothing we can do for you. So I told them I was sorry to have bothered them and hung up. Well, such nice customer service. They even gave you an early wedding present. And our second story. Where's my $2,000? Because there's a high chance I'll be leaving retail for good in the coming months, I keep reminiscing about the incidents that have really stuck with me over the years. This was about 3 years ago. I worked in the online pickup area of big box retailer. At the time, there was a sale on the website for iPads. Despite the fact that there was a 2 per order limit, the site didn't have a limitation per account. People would place as many as 6 orders on the same account. Everyone and their mother ordered literal dozens. Most of the cabinets we had for order storage were filled to the brim with iPads. One woman came along and said she wanted to cancel her orders. She ordered 9, I believe. Total was a couple grand. An assistant manager was present at the time, and he went in and canceled her orders. She went on her merry way. Fast forward about a week and a half later, the woman shows up again, tells us that her order was only partially refunded. The store owes her about $2,000. The department manager calls our support line to check the status of the orders, while me and the assistant manager who canceled the orders looked through our system to see if there was something that was overlooked. After about 5 or 10 minutes of this, the store manager comes along, we explain what's going on, and the woman tells him that she paid with a debit card linked to her bank account and that only a partial refund appeared on her statement. The store manager asked for a copy of her statement to verify that the full refund didn't go through. She has the most pleasantly blank expression. I have to go. She turns tail and leaves without another word. The store manager gives us a smile and continues on his walk through the store. She never came back, and we never heard about this issue again. I never understood the people who think we'll just take their word for it. Like, sure, here's your free money. I trust you, random lady. And our last story. Sleazy real estate developer fraudulently nickels and dimes. Mom helps to drive final nail into coffin. Setting the Wayback Machine for 1994, we start our tale in sunny San Diego. We're moving to the area from Orange County since my dad got a new job down there, and he was pretty tied up with the projects they immediately threw him into. My mom took over most of the details surrounding the move, including dealing with the company building our house. My parents had bought a home that was being constructed as one of those big neighborhood developments. Choose your own slight variation off one of 3 model home deals. Mom negotiated all the details, including the specific flooring upgrades she wanted. As she looks at the contract they gave her with all the details to sign, she starts to raise some objections. Apparently the contract just said carpet, X amount square footage. It didn't say what brand, color, model number, etc. Same goes for all the other agreed upon upgrades. She tells them that's not a contract and says that if she's paying for specific flooring upgrades, those better damn well be written down. She gets the updated papers with the actual details, then notes that the square footage listed was significantly higher than the house needed. She told them the house isn't that big, and they've calculated too much square footage for the materials. They counter with the assertion that she hasn't taken into account cutting loss as they cut around corners and stuff. There's always leftover material. She says, fine, then you better tell your installers to leave every single scrap of material on site and just pile it in the garage. They aren't to take 1 square inch from the site. They agree. We fast forward a couple months. She drives down the day they finish the carpet. She walks into the garage and sees this rather large pile of carpeting materials, most of which are completely intact. It's on at that point. She goes and chats with the friendly subcontractor there at the house and agrees to show her the work order he got from the builder. Lo and behold, the square footage on the work order is significantly smaller than the contract my mom had and was correct for the size of house. By the way, my parents had gone with the exact same flooring layout that one of the model homes had, so the builder absolutely knew the square footage needed. She had only changed the materials for the upgrades. She then asked to borrow the order so she could photocopy them. The subcontractor happily agrees. She drives into the corporate offices for the developer with the copies and starts to raise hell. There were a couple of people there to sign papers to have their own homes built, and after overhearing the story, abruptly left. She gets a refund on the carpeting and brings up the linoleum. They refuse to admit they did the same thing on the linoleum, so she goes back to the house the next day and takes pictures of the leftover amounts of the process and does the same thing. For reasons I'm not clear on at this point, the refund for the linoleum was supposed to be returned along with some of the money in the escrow account when the HUD paperwork was returned. Next, it comes to light that a bedroom window seat my parents had requested that was in the contract wasn't put in as agreed. They complained to my mom and tried to get her to let it slide, whining that it would cost them $300 to send a contractor back out to put it in. After threatening them some more, they finally folded and had someone come out and put it in. They finished the house and my parents do the normal walkthrough inspection before signing off on it and taking ownership. My dad, being my dad, goes through and tests every single outlet, every single light switch, etc. He comes back with a 2-page checklist of things that were wrong/not functional, and they have to send someone out again to fix it all. We finally complete the process and move in. However, the HUD paperwork is delayed and isn't delivered on time. Then it comes back and it's incomplete, doesn't list the reimbursements they had to make for the overcharges, and the escrow money was short by the amount that was due for the linoleum. As the linoleum was just in the kitchen and dining table area, the difference wasn't nearly as large as with the carpeting, but it was the principle of the thing, and my mom by this point was seriously pissed. She brings it up, and they basically refuse to pay it, saying it was a small amount of money, $103, and she should just forget it. Enter the petty revenge. She goes around to each of our new neighbors and makes sure to tell our story and encourage them to double-check each of their contracts and the amount they were charged. All of a sudden, amounts that were being billed started to change, on the average of $1 to $2K per house. Then she got a nice piece of white styrofoam board about 3 by 4 feet and wrote in very large black block letters, "Avoid aggregation. Talk to us before buying a XXX home." Name of development company redacted as they're still around and my parents still live in the same house. That sign got put in the front bedroom window, over the garage, and was easily visible by any passerby. I should note our cul-de-sac was maybe the 2nd or 3rd street that was actually sold and constructed, aside from the little one with the model homes. This was in a neighborhood out of maybe 15 streets total. We had all kinds of people stop by, realtors, appraisers, people looking to buy a home, and one guy that was very obviously from the developer posing as a home buyer. My mom would happily recount every single frustration that we ran into, including the money they still owed us from the overcharge on the linoleum. I was the 3rd of 5 kids and 10 years old at the time, and all of us were so fully versed on the high points that we could each give the story if my mom wasn't home to anyone who knocked, aside from the littlest who was only 6. I can personally remember running through my spiel to 3 or 4 different people when I was the only one who came to the door. The developer threatened to sue us, and my mom just said, "Nah, you don't have a leg to stand on," and ignored it. After the undercover developer guy came by, our check magically showed up in the mail, and my mom got a call from the developer basically saying, "Okay, you got your money. Now take the sign down, please." My mom declined, letting them know that she was still mad and left it up for 6 months. In a shocking coincidence, they also didn't sell a single house in that neighborhood for 6 months. The builder they had ended up going out of business, and the developer ended up filing bankruptcy and going through a reorganization of some kind. They hired a new builder who finished the development, but it took several years past the original time frame. My parents don't credit the sign with directly putting them out of business or anything, but apparently at that time in the 90s, property values were actually declining for once, so the developer was sitting on a whole bunch of land they'd paid too much for. This is likely a large contributing factor to all the different shenanigans they were trying to pull. That being said, not selling a single house for 6+ months in an entire development couldn't have helped the cash flow situation. Never underestimate the ingenuity and deviousness of an angry mom. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.